Good evening and welcome back to Science Fiction Retirement Library. My name's Simon, as most of you probably know by now. Thank you for subscribing. I've got a book haul, as I usually have. It's my favourite thing to do. I've got one box here and then a much bigger box down here. Mabel's actually sat on it at the moment. And it's three lots in two boxes from the same seller. Now, the eBay seller is called EvergreenPages, and they've got some really nice kind of lots of 15 books and others. And I watched a few of them, and I got kind of a nice discount offer on a few of them. So this was the first one that came in. It was kind of the taster box, really. But like I normally do, I ordered some more before I'd even opened this one. So this should be a box of, I think, 15 science fiction, I think from the 1980s. The one thing I noticed, and again, I just scan and then I buy if I don't recognise. And basically, I didn't recognise many on this lot at all, but I did do I looked up a couple of books and I think they were 80s. And I don't have a lot of 80s. So I thought this was just a nice little haul, and I'll go through that one today. And then the other one is a bigger box, and I can't show you it because I'm literally stroking Mabel at the moment. You might see her in the corner. There you go. This is the other box. So it's more than double the size, and this has got, has it got a sticker on it? Oh, that's interesting. Oh no, I've ripped it off. I'm such an idiot. I've ripped off the sticker. I'm prepared this time. So basically this is another 15 book science fiction haul. I don't know if it's 80s again, 70s, 80s. But then also in that is an Andre Norton haul, which I think is 30 plus books. And Andre Norton is someone I don't know much about. I know she was very influential. I haven't read anything, and she was a very well respected editor. So what I'll do is probably minimum two episodes. This episode will just be unboxing this one, and I feel like I haven't done it for a while, so this is going to be a nice treat. Ignore my big red shiny nose, sunburnt nose, and let's get to it. Okay, so let me get my trusty skizzers. This is a cool little box as well. I'm going to keep this because, you know, I obviously sell and send on books myself. This is a really nice size for A format paperbacks. Okay, so inside, not a lot of packaging, but let's see. That's good enough, I think. They're pretty solidly put inside. So, nothing better, huh? So what I'll do is let me put that down there, and I'll pick them from the floor. So number one, I can see it straight away, is Robert Sheckley, but I haven't got Robert Sheckley in this livery for sure, and it is slightly newer again. I can see that because it's £2.25 on the back, but I kind of did that deliberately. When I do my analysis of my first 1,000 books or whatever I'm up to now, I'm going to look at the time periods, you know, what's the decade that I have the most of, for example, and I'm pretty sure the 80s is one that's pretty low. I could be wrong, but it's pretty low. Because when I was reading a lot in the 2000s, for example, the sci-fi masterworks, etc., late 90s, I think I've got a good haul from there, and I've got a lot of 70s. But this is The Status Civilization, which I haven't heard of. A future Earth when one vast and stratified society threatens all who fail to conform. The size of that is something it's just very appealing for me to pick up, put in my back pocket, and take on a train or something. So, originally 1967, and obviously I hope at some point I get an old Robert Sheckley edition. But this Methuen is 1986, so it does fit with the 80s, and it's got a little, I don't know what that is there, maybe I can clean that. It's got a little grimble here, but apart from that, it looks completely unread. So the price of these, I can't remember because I've got it up and running, but the discount and stuff, I think it works out at just under £1 a book or something, I think, or about £1 a book. So if I saw that in a second-hand bookshop or anywhere, £1 for that, I would snap it up all day. So nice one. First good one. Number two, Okay, yeah, so I kind of remember now. There was a bit of American, there's a bit of Ace in here. There might be a bit of Del Rey, if I remember rightly. But look at these. I think that is 80s, but look at the covers. And they're just from really good condition, which was also the other thing that kind of obviously attracted me. So, hasn't got a price on it, that one, but Janet Morris and David Drake, best-selling author of Hammers Slammers, co-author of the 40-Minute War. Oh, so there's a price up there. So $4.75 Canada, $3.50 US. Space was man's last frontier. Will it be his final battleground? So I'm not a big military sci-fi fan, but it is something that I want to jump into at some stage, at least try out some of the classics. So 1987, Ace edition, 1987, looks like maybe first edition, 87. Again, unread. And just something a bit different. I don't get a lot of books that look or feel like this, or even this author. If you know anything about Janet Morris or David Drake, and probably I should, then let me know, because I'm kind of out of the loop on some of these 80s items. But what a great cover. Looks like Face from the A-Team. Battlestar Galactica, huh? Okay, nice. This looks maybe slightly older. Signet, Emile and the Dutchman, a science fiction novel by Joel Rosenberg, author of Guardians of the Flame series. The galaxy-spanning tale of the two toughest, cleverest mavericks in outer space. Oh god, the words that came into my head were rip roaring ride, right? So, and I think that's a coloured text block. I think that's a yellow, not a... Yeah, looks like it. No, maybe this is early 80s, maybe. Oh no, mid 80s, so 1985. There's a lot of check boxes on the front. Again, unread. Come out of this world with Signet. Oh, so it's, I didn't, Signet is NEL. Okay. Yeah. Nice. So, again, Joel Rosenberg, not sure of. It is sci-fi. Their mission was simple, the survival of the human race. It looks like it might be a bat attack, which isn't really something that attracts me, but you never know. Major Alonzo Norfeld, alias the Dutchman, the crudest and most ruthless cigar-smoking, wine-guzzling, poker-playing officer in the whole 1,000 World Contact Center. 1,000 World Contact Center. Is that like customer service for like a big galactic empire or something? But I like the idea. I do like the idea of the cigar smoking, wine guzzling, poker playing kind of characters. I'm a Valiant fan, and Archer and Armstrong. Armstrong is he's an immortal kind of guy, but he's a drunk and it's kind of a big fat kind of character, jovial, you know, skeptical, anti-X, anti-Y kind of thing, you know, like against the grain, contrarian type. So, cool. I'm happy with that as well. So, 80s. Did I look? Yeah, 85. Nice. And they look good on the shelf. I think they're all the same size. Now, this is older. I think I've even got a copy of this. But maybe not Pan. So, Robert Heinlein, Red Planet. So, that's kind of slightly off track with everything so far. Let me just turn off that beep. So Red Planet, I'm sure I've got a copy of this in a different form, but that's a pretty nice pan. And I think this is late 60s, or am I wrong with that? Yes, I am wrong with that. It's 60, oh no, this is 67 first published. This is third printing, 73. So short stories, and there isn't one called The Red Planet. Willis, South Colony Mars, Willis. Now, is that like the Martian Chronicles? Is that a lot of things set on Mars? The thin air of Mars was chill, but not really cold. Again, unread. It looks, you know, very, very nice inside. So first 70s, very happy with that. I definitely haven't got that example, that edition. So that's 4, and all 4 are good. Okay, back to the 80s by the looks of it, and hey, okay, so I had a big haul of Keith Laumer, and I called him Retieff, and I think people told me It's maybe from the Dutch, Afrikaans, South African. It's kind of Retief, maybe. And I don't think I have Retief's piece. I definitely don't have this Bane. I don't know much about Bane, but I've got a lot of Bane, and they all look a little bit kind of 80s kitsch. Like, look at that Judge Dredd-esque cover. Like, is that the first time we were looking at kind of digital art and, you know, kind of uber realistic? But again, unread, I think. So Retief's piece. Oh no, created by Keith Laumer, but this one's written by William H. Keith. So it's based on the character. Peace, it's wonderful, except when the peace movement is actually a subterfuge for the warlike and imperialistic Krill, without an I, to force the Terrans off the planet Baruckley, leaving it defenseless and ripe for Krill conquest. Okay, so it's the same character, but it's not Keith Laumer. This is a little bit discoloured. Oh, so this isn't 80s. This is 2007, so... Okay, so we spanned from, I don't know, 73 to 2007. Interesting little haul. Yeah. Okay, Charles Sheffield. Someone was telling me, do not skip Charles Sheffield. Someone on the comments or through an email was saying, because on some of these hauls, when I have 100 books, I judge books by the cover, right? Unfortunately. But Charles Sheffield, someone said, please do not skip him because he's really good. And this is a Jupiter novel, Putting Up Roots. So again, looks pretty new. There's a little bit of discoloration again, a little bit grimy. Charles Sheffield seems to thrive on all that makes SF fun to read. When teenager Josh Kerrigan is sent to the planet Solferino, he joins a crew of kids already working for the interplanetary agricultural conglomerate stationed there. Though his bosses maintain that no intelligent non-human life exists on Solferino, Josh respects differently. Nice. Looks like a, very, might even be young adult, maybe, I don't know. 1997, so there really is a range in here. So this is 1998. A Jupiter novel, a Tom Doherty Associated book, New York. Yeah, of course it's Tor. Yeah, so pretty new. Something I wouldn't normally pick up. Like, I wouldn't go to a lot and just get that on its own. But when it's £1 within a lot of 15, then I'm pretty happy. And my 80s and now 90s section is growing. Did I have one from David Drake? It was David Drake and someone else, wasn't it? So here's one from David Drake. New from the master of military science fiction. Okay. A Hammer Slammer. So yeah, it is surface action. The battlefield is Venus. The object is victory. And that's pretty cool. Wraparound cover. This one looks like it's maybe red. Yes. Ace again. The final destruction of Earth did not end the battles of mankind, but it did impose certain rules on the wars of Venus. Why not, huh? Oh, I just love the time to just, have like 6 or 7 books on the go, and my only real commitment is reading these books. So 1990, David Drake. And what's the author photo? The author photo. Didn't see an author photo. There it is. If we didn't know what David Drake looked like, looking good. David Drake is one of those rare authors who seems capable of switching from one mode of writing to another. Hard science to near future political thriller to high fantasy with a smooth meshing of gears. Again, maybe I should know about him. Please tell me about him. What's his go-to novel? What's his classic? It's not CLD. Now there's a cover as well. Wow. Is that a painted cover or is that like a photo that's gone mad? So CLD is Collective Landing Detachment. Their mission, the liberation of the entire galaxy, whether it wants it or not, by Victor Millian. I've stumbled across kind of a mini military sci-fi haul, and for someone who doesn't have a lot of military sci-fi, it's quite intriguing. Although that cover is kind of, yeah, that's I'm just not sure how I take that, to be honest. They've all got a pretty similar look. Casualties of Peace, Collective Landing Detachment. Avon Books. from 1995. So when I said it was 80s, it's mainly 90s, I think. I think the majority have been 90s. 3 centuries ago, the Earth was abandoned and the Stellar Collective was formed. Now the Deathbirds do the dirty work, an intergalactic kamikaze fighting force made up of criminals sentenced to die for their offences against the state and nature. But for the 50% who survive the training, the reprieve is merely temporary. Yeah, unread. Avon Nova. Let me know. Anyone read that? You never know. Okay, some strange stuff in here, but overall happy. Right, this does look older, and it's illustrated. I don't know what the publisher is though. So it looks like number 1, Tales of Tomorrow, TV's classic sci-fi series, Invaders at Ground Zero. David Houston, award-winning author of Alien Perspective. This looks nice. This is more my thing when I compare it to the 90s military sci-fi, but that's in really good nick. So how old's that? And let me have a look at the illustration. So leisure books. I have got a few leisure books. Gods in Vortex, that rings a bell. There's LB69. What's this one? LB, is that 225? Tales of Tomorrow 1. I like it. Oh, 1981. So it is, again, it's one of those, that's made, it's 1981, that's made to look retro, right? It hasn't even got a barcode. Anyway, it's nice. It's a nice livery. I like it. I like it a lot. It says illustrated. Okay, not really illustrated, but 5 lines were coming out of the EEG. So maybe this isn't fiction. TV's first anthology sci-fi series adapted many of its 87 scripts from stories by leading writers such as H.G. Wells, Jules Verne, Arthur C. Clarke and Theodore Sturgeon. A booming success, enjoys a nationwide cult following and will soon be returning to television with new episodes. Now, Tales of Tomorrow becomes a series of exciting and action-packed sci-fi novels from David Houston, award-winning author. Oh no, so it is. And the next one's Tales of Tomorrow 2, Substance X. So I do like that. Early 80s. Looks a lot older. It's using some kind of 80s lozenge. But yeah, nice. That's one of my favourites from the haul for sure. Oh, this is one that I did see on the haul. It's very light, just because it's hard not to notice the cover. But I don't know anything about it. William C. Dietz, acclaimed author of Legion of the Damned, Bodyguard, hired muscle for a wired future. So some kind of android bodyguard. It's very light, like kind of could float up in the air. When it comes to military sci-fi, okay, so military sci-fi again. He lives in a world where technology grows too quickly for the mind to comprehend, where huge corporations expand outward into the reaches of space, where things of the past are swiftly deleted to make way for the future. Violence, corruption and murder all remain. Yeah, that one looks pretty cool. 1994. This book is dedicated to all the freaks, misfits and outcasts of the world. God bless them one and all. Yeah, interesting again. There's a nice little kind of collection that seems to overlap and be thematically linked, which is always good. And that's kind of a good selling practice as well. So good on the seller for that, Evergreen Pages. So again, I think I saw this one and thought this one looked old as well. It's just the design. The design looks kind of, that looks like an old design, right? One of those, is it the Del Rey best ofs? Looks slightly like that, but it's got a barcode. Don't know if it's got a price. It's Ace again. It's got a hole in the cover. I'm not sure, I can't remember why they used to do that. Please let me know in the comments. George Warren, Dominant Species. But then when I look inside, it looks more modern. Okay, so 1979, George Warren. At first glance, the great water world Nouvelle Quebec seems the perfect backdrop for an epic fantasy. Certainly all the necessary elements are there. Vast armadas that must do battle with sea demons, a land church that traffics its miracles and deals with divinities, strange creatures with incredible powers that lurk in the night. So yeah, science fantasy. There's some strange lurkers on the front. It looks like the creature from the swamp or the lagoon or some kind of, who's the one in BPRD in Hellboy. Yeah, that's good. That's good as well. A little bit faded, but a little bit earlier, so 1979. Only a few left, so it's a small haul for me. we talked about Face, we talked about Battlestar Galactica. Based on the Sci-Fi Channel's hit original series Battlestar Galactica, a novel by Jeffrey A. Carver. Now, I don't know if this is one I will keep, because I don't know if it's one I would ever actually read. I did used to watch a bit of Battlestar Galactica, but I'm not one of those die-hard fans. Prestwich Library, Longfield. The others look kind of unread, but this is an actual library, bury.gov.uk. So let me have a look. Okay, 16 of the 2nd, 2007 was when it was kind of last checked out, or where it was introduced. 2006. So yeah, I'm not sure about that one. That one might be going in the pile for the charity. But again, let me know. Is it like an undiscovered classic that if you only read one TV linked, it's got to be this one because it's unbelievable? You know, let me know. Either way. I think 3 left. 2 new and 1 looks a little bit older. Great cover. Author of the Hyades Contact, Wynne Whiteford. Lake of the Sun. The aliens have landed and they are us. When the explosions began shaking the very roof of his world, only Ra had the courage to climb to the surface to investigate. There he found a strange machine tended by 2-eyed creatures with silvery skin, aliens. A deep chill touched Ra's very soul. The unbelievable had finally happened. Mars had been invaded. Let's have a look. So 1989, unread, invasion, so probably along the kind of the military theme. Ace again, but yeah, nice. I haven't seen any of these covers. I've never seen these books ever. Know nothing about them, nothing about Wynne Whiteford. So for me, who's trying to expand my knowledge and my library, all good. The last but one. Okay, so I do know this author, and I think I don't know if I've got an old version of this, but this is a good one. So this is Orbit, C.J. Cherryh, Hunter of Worlds. Again, looks unread. Now, is this older than it looks? I hope so. 70, okay, so 1980. So right on the cusp, but unread again, and that's good. I like the look of that one all round. A nice object. The galaxy belonged to the Iduve. Their giant starships travelled where they pleased, taking what they pleased, while lesser breeds, the Amaut, the Kalia, mankind, struggled to live their petty lives. So that's a nice one at the end to go with. Again, that's one of the top ones from the haul. I do like my top 3 at the end. And this is the last one, and just looking at it in the box, I think this one might be one of my top 3, simply because it looks like an older NEL in good condition. John Morrissey, Under a Calculating Star, and it's got a strange attack owl on the front, which looks good. Is this 70s then? They had landed on the forbidden planet of Borok Thadoi. Who comes up with these names? Under a Calculating Star, John Morrissey. First NEL paperback edition, August 1979. And that is, again, unread. And I don't think that's faded either. That's almost pristine. So, really nice. So yeah, EvergreenPages, I can recommend them. That's my little box filled with some great books. And I think, apart from one at the beginning, yeah, I'd have to say, because it's just my go-to, isn't it? The 3 older ones, the more classic ones. Although I don't know much about John Morrissey, the Heinlein is one, really good condition, old pan. The Orbit, in pristine condition, C.J. Cherryh, someone I do want to read. I've got a couple down there. I've got Serpent's Reach, that I actually bought off of Outlaw Bookseller, that I want to read, and I want to read this. And John Morrissey, Under a Calculating Star, I want to read this. So, yep, 15 books, £1 a book, something like that. There was postage on top, but I kind of always forget about postage. I don't like to add it to the total. Well, I should. And petrol when I picked up the collection only. But yeah, really lovely little haul. Nice to have a little break from work. And run through 15 books, and I'll be adding them to my tracker, and I'm pretty sure there's no duplicates in there at all. So no upgrades, where there's 15 additions to the Science Fiction Retirement Library. So thank you very much for watching. I'll do the other big box, which is a 15 book, similar to this. I'm not sure of the publication dates or publication range. And then there's an Andre Norton haul that I'm going to go into a little bit more depth into. So keep watching, keep liking, keep sending me emails. It's fantastic. The community is awesome on BookTube, and I'm very happy and feel very lucky. So thank you very much. Cheers.